Hello everyone, welcome back to the RMUL NA competitions. We are back live. My name is Angel Ham and I am joined by
Preston Kuna.
And we will be bringing you live matches from NYU and Polytech versus UCSD. Both teams are right around the corners here, set it up outside the 3v3 arena, and they're bringing all of the robots here today, and we are psyched for such an awesome match. Preston, what are your thoughts about this upcoming match?
Well, I'm super excited. We've seen these teams before. We know what to expect now. And really that just gets me, or keeps me, as Chad has reminded me, extra hyped. We love to see these teams competing together. UCSD is one of our really, I'm going to call them an intermediate length team. They've been in the competition for a few years now. And NYU Poly are both some of our newer conglomerate teams, both of which have had pretty strong standings. It should be a great match. Chat, a couple of y'all were asking where you can find those super cool end of game graphics that our wonderful production team has been putting up. You can go and get those from our Instagram. Go ahead and follow us on Instagram. You'll see that coming across our bottom of our screen there. You can follow us on LinkedIn, on Twitch. But if you go to our Instagram, you can find those game summaries from these official matches to keep them for your school, or if you're a fan and you just want to keep track, to track the data. Maybe you just want to get every prediction right for the rest of the game. Who knows? But whatever your reason is, that's where you can find those. So yeah, I'm super hyped for these teams, and based on the information we've seen just in person, who do you think's going to win, Angel?
Oh, wow. This is going to really be a tough one for me. You know, I think both these teams are pretty evenly matched, but I think I would have to give it over for NYU and Polytech. I've seen a little bit of their matches yesterday, and I really liked what they were able to put out. Their standard movement was actually pretty good, and yeah, that was what did for me.
That's very accurate. They have been a strong team so far in this competition. I think I'll go ahead and play devil's advocate here. I'm going to go ahead and give my prediction on over to UCSD. They've competed before. They've got good robots this year. They've got some strategy. And really this middle section of competition games are the games, to me, that are the most intriguing, right? Not only have they had time now to fix the robots or any referee issues they may have had last night, but now they also have had a chance to watch the strategy of these other teams. You can best bet that all of these teams have been in here. They've sent members to watch the other teams they'll be playing against. They kind of know what strategies were used in that first game, and so now it's how well can they adapt. Have they been able to fix their technical issues? So this game should be a lot less about technical functionality of the robots that we saw in the practice matches, and a lot more head-to-head robotics competition battle.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about these official matches is how we have structured the competition is that these will be double elimination. So right now, these are probably the second matches for these teams going in, and these will actually decide what seeding they have, or whether they will qualify for the semifinals and the finals that are going to be live tomorrow here. So these matches are super important for all the teams participating, and it will decide who gets to be part of the semifinals and finals tomorrow. So we have that to look forward to, Preston.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Should shape up to be a great match. The teams have entered the arena and are going to be setting up their robots. A reminder that they have a very small 2 to 3 minute window to get these robots set up before each match. Get that initial ammo loaded in. Make sure all of the robots are functional, that their modules are online, so we can avoid these technical issues. Should be great. Oh man, someone in chat thinks this Angel guy is a cutie.
Oh goodness, I don't know. Maybe that's my girlfriend. I don't know. But,
oh, if that's your girlfriend, you better not ignore it, Angel. You better give her a shout out. You're in deep water now, bud.
Oh, thank you, Amelia, for watching. If you're watching, as well as your family for watching yesterday. That was really cool to text you about.
There we go.
We got both these teams coming out here on the field, and they are setting up here. It looks like they're configuring their sentries right about now. NYU and Polytech, they got their standards and their heroes already set up. Pretty cool, as you can see here. Oh, you can't see here because we're not on that shot yet. We're just still presenting. But yeah, both these teams are coming in here. We got like 5 engineers working on this thing. It's really insane. Oh, I don't think they have a turret, Preston. NYU and Polytech, they just have their sentry.
That's true. But as we've seen from these newer teams, that is the smart way to go. Reminder that NYU and Poly are a conglomerate new first-year team, and they have made the very wise decision to build a sentry that exists. Simply having it be legal and pass that inspection and get on the field does mean that they have a very level playing field against even these upper level teams. We've seen throughout the matches in those 2v3s that it's so stressful for those two-man teams to try and push those sentries so aggressively, and that will not be an issue that NYU Poly will have to face, provided their sentry can stay on the rail. If we can switch our camera view over, there are some crazy things happening on the sentry side of NYU Poly.
This is one of the, oh, okay, it seems to have righted itself, but for a while that sentry was slamming into the side rail of the rail it was on, and it was a very scary moment for NYU and Polytech, their team there, right there. But it seems to have corrected itself, and it's doing well, and we are loading back into the match here.
Awesome, love to see it. All right, the poll has closed, or the poll is still open, excuse me. Go ahead and use your stream points to vote in chat. Looks like right now most of the teams predicting NYU Polytech for the win versus UCSD, but we're live. Now the robots will show us who really is going to take this first match. So as a reminder, we've got NYU Polytech on the blue, we've got UCSD on the red. Both of the teams taking a similar exit strategy and meeting in the middle of the map. Neither team really getting a strong initial push, but instead taking this early 2v2 full team fight.
Yeah, UCSD is funneling along the right side of the map, able to go for that 2v1 scenario. And now they're kind of separating so that the hero is actually able to take control of that center buff, allowing for him to get a repair if he so needs to be. Both teams got to be careful there. The walls are really strong there, and they might ram into them.
Some heavy collisions occurring in the center of the field. It's going to be a couple yellow cards, I believe, onto Red Standard 3.
Yeah, it looks like Red Standard 3 is looking to try to get into that sentry and to try to attack it there. But the Blue Standard is doing such an excellent job of body blocking him and preventing him from getting close to take those shots.
The Blue Standard is taking some early shots at the Red Sentry. Both of these teams fielding all three robots. Love to see it. It's going to be a full standard match with our 3v3 RMUL configuration.
It looks to be a little bit of a slow start for both these teams here. I bet they're just trying to get their footing right now and kind of peruse the map and see what's up here. But I think that sooner in the later half of this match, we'll see a cohesive strategy and plan for them as they make their way across the map. We already see number one from the side of UCSD looking to try to get some shots off.
Blue Standard 3 unleashing a volley of pellets there. They have a pretty low profile, which is a really unique standard design. Most of these standards are building up towards that maximum 500 millimeter height. And that Standard 3 from the blue side just unleashing a fearsome volley of projectiles. Absolutely incredible. As you can see, they've split the map similar to what we saw in the last match, where there's two robots, one from each team on each side of the field, playing that kind of offensive-defensive mix. Neither team really willing to risk a defenseless base to push 2v1 into the opponent's base.
We have standard number one taking shots at the Red Sentry, actually, and getting a little bit of damage on there. That damage is actually very permanent, and that damage will be able to decide which team wins if the sentries are not taken out. It does look like one of the standards has fallen for the side of NYU Polytech here.
There we go. We're getting a great shot here. Red Standard 3, Red Hero 1. Getting it coordinated. Heading back to the middle. Both of these teams choosing a very team fight centered meta or strategy where they come together as all four robots in the middle.
UCSD having a little bit of trouble with their Standard 3 as the balls are coming out, but unfortunately they're just dribbling out of the barrel and not flying out there.
That's usually indicative of a speed monitor module issue. Either a bullet has come out, a projectile has come out faster than 15 meters per second initially, or their module has been damaged, making their flywheels turn off.
Wow, you guys gotta remember, this is not only a strategy competition, but an engineering competition as well. And hiccups like these, the teams have to deal with on the fly in between these matches here.
Chad is saying 2/3 of them are sure that UCSD is going to take this victory. It's an extremely close game so far. UCSD being on the red, NYU Polytech being on the blue. Yeah, this game appears like it's going to come down to sentry health, and I believe that the blue team is actually leading in terms of sentry health, if I can see that detail.
Yeah, NYU Polytech, their standard one is just sitting away, trying to fire as many shots as they can into that sentry to create a level, to create a damage gap between them. And if that damage gap gets high enough by the end of this 1 minute, then the game will be theirs, Preston.
Blue Hero 1 for NYU Polytech, taking shots at that red sentry for UCSD.
He does, that does claim his life, though, as he is currently reviving, which gives UCSD the opportunity to 2v1 onto this base here, and this sentry, rather. It looks like they are both climbing into the base of NYU Polytech as they're looking to try to damage that sentry somehow.
Very close match. It looks...
Yeah, Standard 1 on the side of NYU is just reviving and trying to get as much damage as he can onto that sentry.
Welcome back to the first-person view cockpit of the robots. We love this view. It is what our drivers are seeing. It's a little bit shaky cam. We can't stay in it for too long. Don't want to make you all seasick. But our drivers do an excellent job of both navigating and fighting from that limited point of view.
Indeed, yeah, they do. This Standard, again, is lining up the shots here with 8 seconds left on the clock. This can be anyone's game here as they are both trying to deal as much damage to that sentry as possible. But I think NYU will clutch out this victory here as they do take the first match of the game.
It does go over to the blue team. Great job from NYU Polytech getting that early damage down across to the sentry and being able to defend for the rest of that match. Great match. That was super close, Angel.
That was honestly insane. Like, I really think that that speed monitor, the barrel issue that they had, wasn't allowing UCSD to get as much damage onto that sentry as they would have liked. And NYU Polytech just took advantage of that and said, hey, it doesn't matter how many times we die, we're going to get some damage onto your sentry, and we're going to take the game because of it. So really solid strategy coming out from them there. I really appreciate
some shout-outs
that.
to our Canadian teams, our Ontario and McMaster coming in from the chat. You're getting some literal I love yous thrown at you in the chat. And we do love our Canadian teams, our American teams, our Mexican teams. It's all about love here in the NA region of RoboMasters. We're so glad y'all are joining us, and it's these kinds of matches that we are happy to have you here for. Great showing from each team, right? None of those large technical issues or mechanical issues. Just a good, clean fight. A lot of aggressive bumping. In a lot of our other games, we haven't seen very much body blocking like we do in the full 7v7 RMUC competitions, but in this match, these teams were utilizing that mechanic quite a bit. It is prohibited to charge. Think of it a little bit like basketball, where you can push a little bit, you can nudge and body block, but if it looks purposeful and if it looks malicious, they will give you yellow cards, and you can't even get kicked out and get a red card if you are overly aggressive or repeatedly aggressive.
But yeah, they were able to utilize that body blocking without necessarily ramming to their advantage, as it allowed them to create enough distance so that he wasn't able to get close enough. The Standard wasn't able to get close enough to shoot the blue team sentry. So really good job on them. And like Preston said, it's really cool that we get to see all these different universities coming together here and becoming like one team. I think we have 12 different universities or 11 different universities coming together to form 7 whole teams. So it's really awesome to see that people from the same state and different universities can get together and put on an awesome show.
We've got a couple questions coming in from the chat. For all of our scheduling questions, go ahead and go to robomasters.na. It's our official RoboMasters website, and our schedule is posted there for you to keep up to date on the matches and their schedule throughout the day. We had another question come in asking about yellow cards and red card violations. I'll talk a little bit about the yellow cards. If you do some light bumping or if you have a little bit of a rule violation, you will incur a yellow card. As a viewer, you will see that as the light indicator bar, that health bar on the robot turning yellow. And as a driver, your screen will go all white. So it will keep you from shooting. You won't be able to shoot. It'll turn off your flywheel power. And for a short amount of time, I think it's 2 to 3 seconds, your entire screen goes white as a small penalty to your team to remind you not to do whatever rule violation you have just done.
And I believe, I'm not exactly sure on this, Preston, so you may have to correct me on this one, but if you get a red card, you lose all of your health and then have to be revived after that, or are you just completely taken out of the game from the referee system?
You can be completely taken out if your rule violations are serious enough, but we are hopping right back into the match. No time to talk about this now. Hopefully we won't need to talk about red cards as they won't occur during this match. Here we go. So we've got UCSD coming out of their base nice and confidently. We see 2 different strategies from each team. You saw UCSD go out together. You saw NYU Polytech split the barrier. Love to see this mix of strategies and how they play out.
And here we have, again, this one-on-one scenario where both teams have decided to split up their robots. Actually, I stand corrected. Both as both of the UCSD robots kind of climb back into the back of the blue team's base here, and they're just looking to do some damage here. To standard number 3 on the side of NYU Polytech.
Ooh,
It's lots
NYU
of shots
Polytech has got to be
exchanged.
careful. He's in a 2v1 confrontation right in front of the base, but he's doing a great job defending. Hasn't actually taken a lot of damage yet, but the players are being very careful of not ramming this. You can see in this first-person view just how hard it is to maneuver around these different robots, and there's a yellow card on your screen right now. Wow. Production team, thank you so much for that. You asked and you received, chat. Now you know exactly what it's like to get a yellow card, and that's how it is. NYU Polytech laying down a few rounds of damage onto that red sentry.
Red standard 3 is popping as much damage as it can into that blue standard. They're trying to get it offline so that they can deal with that sentry. I think they're actually able to take it down right there. And now it is a 2-on-1 on that sentry. And I hope that they can take it down now.
UCSD very confident here, pushed all the way up into the blue base and maintaining this aggressive positioning. No fear from the UCSD team.
I believe they're trying to target the base, but that base does have that protective layer there. So I believe it is either 500 hit points or it is protected. One of those two
It's a shield.
things.
It's got a small shield. They can chip through the shield if they're persevering enough. But against buildings, these standard rounds only do 5 damage each. So you've got to land a substantial amount of shots onto these bases to chew through their health. Standard 3 now from UCSD deciding to take some pot shots at this sentry. And hitting several of them, actually.
There you go. That's that damage deficit you need in order to claim victory in this type of match here. So great job on the side of UCSD for recognizing that win condition here.
You can see the excellent planning out of NYU Poly here. Someone asked in chat, or Angel mentioned the fact that this NYU Poly sentry doesn't have a gun, but the fact that it's moving back and forth, you can see how hard that's making it for this UCSD standard pilot. He's only able to hit 1 out of every 10 or so rounds because of this sentry's continued motion. But he's very persistent. He's doing a great job of controlling his barrel heat. Excellent driving from Standard 3 of UCSD as it's continuing to chip away at this house of the blue sentry. You can see it getting very low on your screen. If they can take this sentry out, they will claim this match, most likely.
As that is happening, Hero 1 of the side of UCSD was able to take down twice now the standard on the side of NYU Polytech. He's being able to take him down right before he's able to do as much sentry damage as he wants to there. So really awesome job by them for recognizing, for trying to stop them from dealing damage to their sentry.
Red 3 may have incurred a pretty severe penalty here as it appears to have been deactivated.
Oh, wow. I don't know if that's the sentry on the side of UCSD hitting that standard right there, but it is turning on and off as soon as it gets revived there. It is being pelted by some sort of barrage right there.
NYU Polytech sentry still very, very low on health, but alive. UCSD sentry has a health advantage. The game has 1 minute and 20 seconds left. It does appear, however, that this red standard 3 will not be coming back online for UCSD, and that is going to be very tough. This red hero will have to defend that sentry. Oh man, this is going to be a nail biter, Angel. As the game stands right now, UCSD would take the second match, but one robot down. It is a 2v3. It's going to be really close with 1 minute left in the game.
Yeah, with the 2 robots on the side of NYU Polytech, they may have lower sentry health, but they have 45 seconds here to do as much damage as they can and possibly even take out that sentry. And if they're able to do that, they're going to take this game, Preston.
Clutch response from Billy, our favorite referee in the chat, explaining that this red standard did incur 4 yellow cards, which means your driver does get ejected from the match. That standard will be out for the remainder of this match, but there's only 24 seconds left, and I believe that UCSD still has an advantage. If they can just simply defend this base for 20 more seconds, they will take the victory and give us our first ever split best of 2 at the RMUL NA competition, and that's great. We love those split matches, those ties. That's what we like to see from these super close nail-biter games.
Both of these teams doing an absolute amazing performance here as we reach the end of our timer, which will make the red team win this match.
UCSD takes the second round in spite of that ejection. Wow. What a series. That was insane.
Amazing and insane and a bunch of firsts for our RMUL NA competition today.
Morgan wants to know how they got so many yellow cards. Let's talk about the penalties real quick, and then we'll come back to the good, and then we'll talk about the bad. So with the penalties, most of those yellow cards, if not all of them, are going to be for bumping and ramming. These robots were playing in really, really close quarters. There was a lot of bumping happening. I can see from my vantage point here that red standard does have, as is necessitated by the rules, small bumpers around those wheels. And those bumpers make it a little bit difficult for the drivers to make sure that they're not making contact with the other robots. Some casual or light contact is not strictly against the rules, but anything that looks intentional or dangerous for the robots will be called out by the refs. There are referees, multiple on every side of this arena, for that exact rule identification to make sure that bumping isn't going to break these robots. We don't want anyone's robot to be taken out of the game because they got ran over by a different robot. They've spent so long building these and coding these. That would be a shame. But 1v1 from our first match. Angel, I talked about the bad. Bring us back to the light. What are some of the good things that we saw during this match?
Some of the good things that we were able to see in this match, not only did we see, one win from UCSD and one win from NYU Polytech, we also got to see some really interesting strategies coming out here. We got to see how they split up and did this kind of offense-defense strategy. And recognizing that, like, hey, if we split up our offense and defense, maybe we have a better chance of winning. We also saw this cool thing where we were able to see the blue standard kind of take as many shots as he could at the Sentry, because even if he dies, he's still going to get that damage deficit that he needs to win.
And you know what? Red standard 3 from UCSD, yes, he did penalty out, but he did a great job. He did do a sufficient amount of damage to that Sentry that even with him being out for the last minute and 30 seconds of the match, they were able to take that match. First player token doing a great job answering some questions for us in the chat. Yes, so this is a tie. Points will be distributed across both teams for our group stage finish. Great round. Super happy that these teams are fielding 3 robots, that they were able to compete and not have any technical issues. And I loved the variety and strategy that we saw during this match.
Oh, yeah.
We got to see the 2-man together. We got to see the 2-man split at the start. We got to see the teams just absolutely gun it and stick 1 man on each side of the field. We got to see them go 2v1. We saw everything, a little bit of everything. These teams had great communication, being able to switch up their strategies on the fly throughout the match.
One of my favorite things, actually, Preston, that we got to see a lot of in the 7v7s in the China regional matches that was employed today was the use of body blocking by the side of the blue team. They were able to position their standard in such a way that it was able to take advantage of the fact that the other standard couldn't shoot far enough to actually hit their sentry turret. And by being there in front of them, it made it so much more difficult to actually land and aim that shot. So without incurring any penalties, they're able just to stay there, body block, and kind of block some of the damage that goes out there.
Awesome. Well, guys, don't go anywhere. We are coming back with more matches. Great matches by our team. Great matches from our support staff as well. We love the rate at which these matches are being completed. I know we had some technical issues yesterday, including entire building power surges, but we are doing great. We're chugging along today through these matches, through these qualifying rounds, getting closer and closer to the first ever RMUL NA final match. Love to see it.
Yeah, as these are the kind of qualifying, like, round-robin type rounds where teams try to get as many points as they can. We will be having the semifinals and finals tomorrow, so please look forward to that and tune in if you are interested in seeing the finals for the NA RoboMasters League.